I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Government will ensure subsidies provided fairly to targeted groups. And maximum one-way airfare of 300 ringgit for Kaamatan Gawai festivals. Good morning. We begin with this story. The government will continue to look for methods to ensure subsidies are provided fairly to targeted groups. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim also stressed that the B40 group will continue to be given attention in the provision of subsidies. According to Datuk Seri Anwar, the approach is the policy of the unity government. Instead of providing subsidies across the board to ensure the poor will not be burdened, while the rich will have to pay up. The Prime Minister also defended the decision to impose actual electricity tariff charges on households which use excessive electricity, which he said did not affect 80% of consumers. He said this in his speech at a gathering with mosques and Surau Committee members from the Tambun Parliamentary Constituency at the Perak Islamic Administration Institute, INTIM, in Ipoh on Thursday. On another matter, Datuk Seri Anwar stressed that there would be no significant changes in the country following the decision of the Home Ministry to withdraw its appeal against the High Court's ruling regarding the use of the word Allah. He pointed out that the matter should not be debated as it did not involve changes at the policy level.
Di Sabah Sarawak tak ada perubahan. Di Sabah Sarawak dibolehkan dengan syarat-syarat. Di Semenanjung tidak dibolehkan. Itu yang kita kekalkan. Yang ada yang rendah ni saya apa? Saya tak faham apa yang tak tahu. Oh, Anwar ni memang liberal, dia tunduk kepada DAP dan dia sekarang memang betul lah dia memang nak merosakkan akidah umat Islam. Ya benar ni.
Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also Tambun MP, added that although the government administration had alternated between parties for a long time, the court's decision remained in force until now. He also said that he wanted to strengthen several points on the matter during his audience with Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah soon over the issue. Later at night, Datuk Seri Anwar attended the state-level Malaysia Madani open house held at the Lost World of Tambun in Ipoh, Perak on Thursday night. The event was graced by the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah, and the Raja Permaisuri Perak, Tuanku Zara Salim. The royal couple arrived at 8:15 p.m. and was greeted upon arrival by Datuk Seri Anwar and Perak Menteri Besar, Datuk Seri Sarani Muhammad. Also present were several cabinet ministers and the State Executive Council members. About 50,000 guests from various races gathered at the open house event and were treated to an array of dishes such as nasi ayam kukus, fried noodles, char kway teow, and many more. The guests who came as early as 5 p.m. were also entertained by artist performances. They were also given the opportunity to experience some of the activities at the theme park for free. The price of one-way air tickets from peninsular Malaysia to Sabah and Sarawak will not exceed 300 ringgit beginning this Saturday. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the discounted rates is part of the ministry's pilot project, which will only be applied in the 3 days leading to the Kaamatan and Gawai festivals. Loke said a cabinet meeting on Wednesday had decided that the government would purchase the remaining 17,708 one-way flight tickets from the peninsula to Sabah and Sarawak. He added the government had agreed to subsidize the tickets to lighten the burden of Sabahans and Sarawakians who want to return to their hometowns for their respective festivals.
Baki tiket itu, kerajaan purchase all the tickets. Dan kita minta syarikat penerbangan jual balik kepada penumpang dengan harga maksima RM300. Ataupun kalau harga sebenar belum sampai RM300, dia ikut harga asal. Katakan ada harga yang RM250, dia kekal enjoy RM250.
He also revealed that the government will bear the cost of between 5.8 and 11.4 million ringgit to subsidize one-way flight tickets from peninsular Malaysia to Sabah and Sarawak in celebration of the Kaamatan and Gawai festivals. The discounted flight tickets from Peninsular Malaysia to Sabah will be applied 3 days before Keamatan on May 27th, 28th and 29th. For flight tickets from Peninsular Malaysia to Sarawak, the discounted rates will be applied 3 days before the Gawai Festival on May 29th, 30th and 31st. The Keamatan Festival is celebrated on May 30th in Sabah, while the Gawai Festival is celebrated on June 1st in Sarawak. Lok added that the discounted flight tickets will be available for all airline companies flying to Sabah and Sarawak, including AirAsia, Malaysia Airlines, Batik Air and My Airline. Meanwhile, the supply of chicken eggs in the country are currently exceeding domestic demand. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi attributed the development to the strategic cooperation between the Federal Agricultural Marketing Authority, FAMA, and 11 other suppliers.
Dalam situasi yang begitu, kerana telur adalah harga barangan kawalan, maka harga itu ditetapkan pada harga yang telah dikeluarkan mengikut jadual. Ya. Dalam perkara ini yang penting pengguna tetap dapat bekalan. Ya.
Datuk Seri Zahid, who is also National Action Council for Cost of Living, NACOL chairman, said this after chairing the council's third meeting on Thursday. As of May 8th, FAMA has distributed 28.1 million eggs to farmers' markets and Agrobazar Kedai Rakyat across the country. Only between 2 and 3% of nearly 10 million households in the country are using excessive electricity every month and not eligible to receive government subsidies. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said the tariff increase for households with high electricity consumption will encourage these users to switch to solar power for their homes.
We have to move more towards solar. So as we encourage industries and give incentives and debottleneck to industries, also households. But if the tariff is still the same, it's still as cheap as anyone else, there's no motivation juga to do solar. So it comes handy, hand in hand. But most probably it will affect very small number of households, about the 2%, 3% of households only.
Rafizi said this to the media after his keynote address at the National Economic Forum 2023 in Kuala Lumpur on Thursday. He added currently over 10 billion ringgit in electricity bill subsidies are enjoyed by 5% of the total households, with their monthly power consumption reaching up to 2,000 kilowatt-hour. Due to this, these homeowners can afford installing solar panels if they wish to reduce their electricity bill. Rafizi was commenting off Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's recent announcement that households with high electricity consumption would no longer enjoy government subsidies. This is to ensure government subsidies are more targeted and would benefit the right category of people as well as reduce leakages. The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry will investigate if there are reports on the resale of Coldplay concert tickets at exorbitant prices. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub, said those reselling the tickets at unreasonable prices can be subjected to legal action based on the Consumer Protection Act 1999. Commenting on reports of scalpers reselling the band's concert tickets at high prices of up to 43,000 ringgit, Datuk Seri Salahuddin said such a move is unreasonable and outrageous. He added if the ministry receives an official complaint, advice can be given to the consumer and at the same time, action can be taken against the seller based on the Consumer Protection Act 1999 or Act 599. However, he stressed that the ministry has not received any official complaints regarding the scalpers. Meanwhile, Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fadzil said the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, has been instructed to take action on Coldplay ticket resale advertisements on social media.
Kalau ada yang menghantar maklumat yang palsu seperti itu, scammer, maka saya akan minta SKMM untuk meneliti dan mengambil tindakan tegas. Sekiranya pelaku itu boleh dikesan, maka kita akan bawa ke muka pengadilan. Sekiranya posting itu masih berada, kita akan minta platform tersebut untuk mengambil tindakan yang bersesuaian.
Earlier, the existence of accounts selling Coldplay concert tickets on various platforms had gone viral on social media, where it was said to be run by scammers. Additionally, a scalper who had resold the band's concert tickets at a price of up to 43,000 ringgit received criticism from netizens. Some netizens also called attention to the possibility of an insider monopolizing bulk purchases, perhaps with access to the ticketing system, thus urging authorities to investigate further and question those related to the event. Coldplay's Music of the Spheres World Tour Series concert is scheduled for November 22nd at the Bukit Jalil National Stadium, marking the band's first ever concert in Malaysia. The Government and Home Ministry will conduct a comprehensive study on the administrative order related to the use of the word Allah issue. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said it needs to be done because there is a conflict between orders from the ministry's administration and the decision made by the Cabinet in 1986.
Kabinet akan tentukan ministry ataupun kalau dari segi akta yang menjadi punca kuasa itu adalah akta penerbitan mesin cetak, akta itu di bawah kawasan KDN. Tapi yang namanya untuk mengemukakan satu rencana yang komprehensif guna untuk mengawal selia isu ini kepada Majlis Raja-Raja, saya fikir Kabinet akan memutuskan.
Datuk Seri Saifuddin said that the government will always uphold the federal constitution, especially Article 3, which states that Islam is the religion of the Federation, while other religions can be practiced peacefully and harmoniously. Previously, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim had instructed the Cabinet to discuss the Attorney General Chamber's AGC decision to withdraw the appeal against Jill Ireland's case of using the word Allah in her religious education. In this regard, he said the Cabinet is aware that the decision was made due to administrative issues and does not change the federal court ruling in 2014. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Akril Sani Abdullah Sani said the police will leave it to the federal government to handle the issue over the use of the word Allah. The Inspector General of Police said he believes there will be a briefing involving the Conference of Rulers regarding the issue.
Kita serahkan kepada pihak kerajaan untuk menyelesaikan perkara ini kerana saya percaya akan ada satu taklimat kepada Majlis Raja-Raja mengenai perkara ini. Ya. Saya percaya isu tersebut telah pun diselesaikan dengan baik dan saya rasa eloklah kita selesai di situ dan tidak ada isu yang timbul.
Tan Sri Akril Sani was speaking to reporters after attending a high-tea event with media practitioners in Bukit Aman on Thursday. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Akril Sani said Bukit Aman is serious in curbing issues pertaining to royalty, religion and race, especially on social media. As such, he said a special task force has been formed consisting of a team from Bukit Aman CID's Special Investigation Unit, which will take action against those who insult or touch on sensitive issues pertaining to the 3R. A total of 23 cases were recorded by the task force between March 22nd and May 17th. In the meantime, an integrated system between the National Registration Department, NRD, and the police is in the works to expedite the citizenship application process. Its Director General, Zamri Misman, said with the integration in place, the screening process and checks for a citizenship application could be done online.
Sekiranya integrasi sistem ini dapat dilaksanakan pada Oktober ini, tempoh masa pemprosesan akan dapat dikurangkan dari tempoh 2 bulan kepada hanya 2 minggu. Manakala permohonan yang bermasalah, tempoh masa pemprosesan dapat dikurangkan dari 3 bulan kepada 1 bulan.
Speaking at the department's Excellent Service Award presentation ceremony on Thursday, he said the department targets to expedite at least 3,000 applications by year end. He said the department aimed to clear a backlog in citizenship applications for wives and children of Malaysian citizens, as well as birth registrations of those born before Merdeka under Article 15(1) and Article 16 of the Constitution. Zamri also said beginning June, those who have applied to relinquish their citizenship could check the status of their applications online. After this breather, Thailand reformists to form new government. Welcome back. Pita Limjarunrat, the leader of the Reformist Party that won Thailand's 2023 election, says he is confident he will be able to form a coalition government. This after his Move Forward party secured an alliance with 7 other parties that give them 313 of the 376 votes needed.
As you can see, that we have a lot of momentum and my coalition is taking shape. Whether we need more seats or numbers, that depends on the negotiation team that I have set up. And the goals of the negotiation team, first of all, is to find out the optimum number that gives me stability, as well as to make sure that we can work as a team.
The party, however, is not guaranteed government due to Parliament's setup, which consists of 500 elected seats in the lower house and 250 unelected positions in the Senate appointed by the military. Following its election success on Sunday, Move Forward reached out immediately to the second most popular party, Pheu Thai, who won 141 seats in the lower house to establish the basis of a viable coalition. He added that the 313 votes in the lower house are sufficient in a normal democratic system, and they do not need to seek any more partners. The Philippine Central Bank kept its benchmark interest rate steady on Thursday, as expected, and signaled a continued pause in policy tightening for the next 2 to 3 meetings after lowering inflation forecasts for this year and the next. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas BSP kept the benchmark overnight reverse repurchase facility rate at 6.25%. after cumulative hikes of 425 basis points since May last year to curb high inflation. The BSP joins a growing number of banks globally that are pausing months-long tightening campaigns as price pressures moderate. However, it also signaled its readiness to resume raising rates to respond to emerging threats to inflation. The decision to pause its most aggressive rate hiking cycle in years comes after inflation eased in April for the 3rd straight month, though the 6.6% headline figure remained well outside the central bank's 2 to 4% target. A train carrying grain was derailed in Russian-controlled Crimea on Thursday morning, with authorities blaming interference by outsiders. Authorities reported that an explosion caused by interference by outsiders was to blame, as rail traffic was suspended between Simferopol, the capital of the Crimean Peninsula, and the city of Sevastopol. Crimea's Russian-installed governor, Sergei Aksyonov, said there were no casualties in the incident and investigations into the derailment are underway. Though several acts of sabotage have been reported on Russian railways since Moscow launched its Ukraine offensive, this month was the first time officials confirmed attacks on this scale. Thursday's apparent railway blast comes a day after Russia and Ukraine agreed to extend the Black Sea Grain Initiative, which ensures continued supplies of Ukrainian grain to the world market for another 2 months. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte has signed into law a measure to severely restrict the app TikTok, making his state the first to enact a near-total ban on the social media platform in the United States. The law, slated to take effect on January 1st, 2024, would bar TikTok from operating in Montana and would also prohibit app stores from offering TikTok for download within state lines, a ban that tech companies fear will be impossible to implement. However, the American Civil Liberties Union said that the law tramples on the country's free speech rights under the guise of national security and lays the groundwork for excessive government control over the internet. TikTok has not yet announced whether it will file a lawsuit to overturn the Montana ban, but legal challenges are expected.
Information and data from users.
Swiatek withdraws from Italian Open. Sports when we come back.
Ada masanya
Sports tennis, the WTA Italian Open. Poland's Iga Swiatek was forced to retire with an injury during the third set of her quarter-final against Elena Rybakina in Rome. World number one Swiatek is just days away from starting the defense of her French Open title, but pulled out of her match in Rome after appearing to struggle with a leg injury. Rybakina, the reigning Wimbledon champion, advanced to her first WTA 1000 semi-final on clay with a 2-6, 7-6, 2-all win, and will meet 20th seed and 2017 French Open winner Jelena Ostapenko in the last four on Friday. Swiatek's retirement ends her 14-match winning run at the Italian Open, with the top seed having lifted the trophy in the last 2 years. In the men's category, Norway's Casper Ruud moved into his third consecutive Rome semi-final after a straight-set 7-6, 6-4 victory over Francisco Cerundolo. The 24-year-old had lost his previous two matches against Cerundolo, including a straight-sets defeat just weeks ago in Barcelona, but he managed to survive a 2-hour battle on the clay courts of Rome. Ruud will face Holger Rune in the last four after Rune beat Novak Djokovic. Last year's French Open runner-up is now just 2 victories from earning his first ATP Masters 1000 title. Still to come, 10 kilograms of smoked rats seized. thanks for staying with us. The Malaysian Quarantine and Inspection Services Department, MAKIS, has foiled an attempt to smuggle 10 kilograms of smoked rats from Vietnam into the country on Wednesday. State Director Muhammad Ikram Abdul Talib said the smoked rats, worth 1,000 ringgit and brought in without a valid import permit, were discovered following checks at the Penang International Airport. He said the items were detected with the help of the Customs Department's scanning machine and subsequent checks by MAKIS officers at the airport. Authorities found the items inside the luggage of a passenger arriving from Vietnam. The case is probed under Section 11(1) of the Quarantine and Inspection Services Act 2011 or Act 728. In the meantime, Muhammad Ikram said the state MAKIS has always taken serious steps with enforcement agencies at the border in issues involving food safety, disease control and the risk of pest entry that could threaten the country's agriculture sector, adding that rats can cause infectious diseases directly and indirectly. He said law enforcement action will continue to be strengthened to ensure animal disease control and food safety are maintained. Now, the owner of an employment agency has been remanded for 2 days, starting Thursday, to assist in the investigation of a case of false claims amounting to 370,000 ringgit in 2020 and 2021. The case involved false claims submitted online to the Social Security Organization, SOCSO, to obtain hiring incentive payments under the Penjana Kerjaya 2.0 program. Now, the 2-day remand order was issued by Magistrate Nur Faiza Abdul Sani at the Shah Alam Magistrates Court after granting the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission's application. The 45-year-old suspect was detained at the Selangor MACC office on Wednesday afternoon when he appeared to give a statement. Selangor MACC Director Dato' Alias Salim confirmed the remand and said the case is being investigated under Section 471 of the Penal Code for using a forged document. Last Tuesday, 3 individuals from 2 different companies were remanded on suspicion of submitting false claims amounting to approximately 1 million ringgit to SOCSO under the Penjana Kerjaya program. So far, 4 people have been arrested in connection with the same case. In Perak, police successfully busted a drug syndicate after raiding a drug processing lab and confiscating heroin worth over 210,000 ringgit at a house in Jelapang on Tuesday. State Police Chief Datuk Sri Muhammad Yusri Hassan Basri said during the operation, police also arrested a married couple aged between 30 and 38, believed to be involved in the illegal activity. Authorities also seized chemicals and equipment believed to have been used in the processing and packaging of the drugs seized. Also seized were a vehicle and a necklace estimated to be worth 36,000 ringgit. Police believe the syndicate had been active since February, while one of the suspects also tested positive for methamphetamine. The couple have been remanded for a week beginning Wednesday to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Nightline this time around, but before we leave, let's take a look at visuals of Charity Handicraft Center training women to make belts for the traditional Yemeni dagger. Made of cotton fabric embellished with geometric designs and embroidered with a metallic golden thread, the belt is an important decorative element of the Yemeni outfit. You've been with me, Sabrina Zainal, for the past half an hour. Stay safe, Malaysia.